If you want to be more efficient and effective while running your business with more inner peace, then working on the core of your issues instead of putting on a band-aid is vital. Welcome to the Business Brain Podcast.
I'm your host, Esty Rapport, and here to help you improve your 28 cognitive functions, the 28 things that make up thinking. In each episode, we'll discuss a real-life challenge, why you might be struggling with it, and give you practical strategies so all areas of your life will improve.
Why should you think abstractly? How does it help your business? And what can you do to actually improve your ability to think abstractly? That's what's coming up next on the Business Brain Podcast, episode 405. But first, leave a rating and review. Let me know what you think about it. Let's help more entrepreneurs find this podcast. I know it's weird, but it actually helps. So take a moment, leave a rating and review, and if you screenshot and send it to me, I can give you a shout out too. Now, for today's real life challenge, imagine you are at an in-person event training and you are struggling to understand what the presenter is sharing. A way to provide so much value that it 10x her business without it taking any additional time. This sounds like something you can totally do in your business, and you know it will give you an edge. But there's a problem. You are struggling to really understand what she's talking about and how she implemented it, so that way you can see how it relates to your own business. You might be struggling with this if you have the weak cognitive function of, abstract thinking. Thinking is made up of 28 parts called cognitive function. Naturally, we all have stronger ones and weaker ones, but those weaker ones are making it challenging for you to do some of the things you want to do. And one of those thinking skills is abstract thinking. It might be easier for you to understand what abstract thinking is by explaining the opposite, concrete thinking, right? Concrete thinking is using pictures or even items to help you understand it. If I show you an apple, a real apple, and tell you this is an apple, that is concrete thinking. If I show you a picture of a real apple, it's a little bit less concrete and a little bit more abstract. Now, if I show you an apple drawing, that's even a little bit less concrete and even more abstract. But if all I do is just tell you what an apple is, that is the most abstract. As you see, it's a spectrum. Most learning and understanding falls somewhere in between concrete and abstract thinking. If the presenter is just talking, you're going to have to use a lot more abstract thinking to understand. However, if she draws diagrams and pictures, it becomes a bit more concrete and makes it a bit easier for you to understand what the presenter is saying, especially if you struggle with abstract thinking. Now, before we get into how to improve abstract thinking, let's discuss 5 ways abstract thinking will give your business an edge. Number 1, we just said you'll be able to understand and learn from more people, even when they don't use pictures or diagrams to explain it. Years ago, I was training preschool teachers, and I had this teacher who could not understand anything without a picture. Like literally one of the most extreme cases is struggling with abstract thinking. Every skill, every game, every craft needed a diagram, needed a picture with all the details to help her understand it. It took a lot of my time, and I always used to think how much time she wastes by having this weak cognitive function. So yes, that's to get to understand from more people, and you save a whole lot more time. Number 3, abstract thinking helps you come up with creative solutions. Many times people are stuck in the details and only can see what is right in front of them. Concrete thinking. So they are struggling to come up with the solution because that's not right in front of them. Number 4, many business concepts and ideas, plans require abstract thinking. How are you going to anticipate trends? Right? How are you going to figure out what are you going to do in 5 years, 10 years when you can't actually see it? How are you going to be able to project where your business is able to do if you don't have it concretely in front of you? You need to be able to use the abstract thinking to be able to do it. And number 5, a lot of soft skills such as communication and leadership require abstract thinking. How will they react? How do I inspire them? What's the best way to collaborate? Understanding other humans and what they are not saying will help you make the situation win-win, but it requires you to use abstract thinking. Here are 3 ways to get better at abstract thinking so you can get all the benefits we just spoke about. Number 1, at the dinner table or whenever you are in a non-pressurized environment, tell the people you are with that you want to get better at abstract thinking. Then whenever anybody talks, they've got to use words to express what they're saying. No drawings or hand motions that will help you figure it out. Like when say, imagine here's the house and I was walking down from the other side. Then you're getting less abstract and more into concrete. Better yet, no analogies. Number 2, read books or listen to podcasts on abstract concepts. Ones without diagrams. Well, you're not going to have that issue with podcasts unless you're watching it on YouTube. But when you listen or read about abstract concepts without pictures, your brain is really going to be stretched. Topics on abstract thinking might be like science, art, or maybe even psychology. That's something I might actually be really interested in. Number 3, journaling is a great way to write your thoughts. Once again, see if you can do it when you journal without diagrams or pictures. One last tip, whenever you are talking to others, especially when you're talking to a lot of people, either in a speech or in content creation, you want to do the opposite. Try to use as many diagrams, as many pictures, as many analogies as possible, as there will be people in your audience who struggle with abstract thinking. And this way, you'll be able to help more people understand you. That's just a pro tip into understanding the cognitive functions. In this episode, we discuss why you want to get better at abstract thinking and ways to improve it. So why? 5 reasons. You get to understand and learn from more people. Number 2, you save time. Number 3, you come up with creative solutions. Number 4, better plans. And number 5, you get better at soft skills like communication and leadership. Now, ways to improve abstract thinking is practice abstract talking when you're in a non-pressurized environment. Number 2, read books or listen to podcasts on abstract concepts. And number 3, journal your thoughts in just word. Your challenge is to choose one way to improve your abstract thinking and do it for at least 5 minutes every day this week. And you'll be on your way to peak brain performance.
That's all for this episode of the Business Brain Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with 2 of your business friends so they too can gain from it, and you'll be helping us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. Cheers to peak brain performance.